Oh, basically really nice. Hey. Hey. Could hear myself. Well, more than normal anyway. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Happy Monday.
Hello? What's that?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for screaming at me first thing in the morning. Let's see. What are we doing? I don't like that my bots are getting into the chat. They should not be because they're doubling up messages. Alright, that's waking. Sweet. Alright, that's working too. Sweet. Okay. We got news this morning. Should be a fun time. Dan! How's it going, my friend? I hope you're doing good, man. I always enjoy seeing you in chat. We may not play anything this morning. We're supposed to do game news. I am very ill prepared, but we do have some stuff to talk about with Fortnite, and Fortnite news is always impactful on the game space. Let's see. Where is... I had an article that we were going to start off with. We get things started up and make sure everybody has time to join. I wish they put dates on these articles so I could know how far back in time I was looking. I mean, that was a lot of scrolling, so I probably went way too far back. News. Ah, there it is. All right, cool. Found what I was looking for. We're gonna... there's like very little planning this morning. We're just gonna do it. Yo! 42 months! Will, thank you for the resub. How are you doing, man? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Much appreciated. Your support is invaluable. We really can't put a price tag on it, but Twitch gladly did. So, thanks, man. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for supporting the content and the channel, and for being a friend.
Welcome back.
All right. I think we can get started here. Happy Monday, folks. Welcome to the stream. And I'm like always out of frame. I really want to adjust this camera like a lot, because I'm always sitting over here. So maybe just, yeah, there we go. All right, how are we doing, chat? I hope everybody had a good weekend. Nice long weekend for a lot of us. Back to work today. We're going to hit the grind pretty hard after the stream. I've got a lot of work to catch up on and things to do. But we're going to hang out for a minute and talk game news. As the title says, is Fortnite using generative AI? Yeah, it's a valid question that came up with the start of the latest chapter 7 launch for Fortnite. And it's kind of a big deal. I mean, the game had a very Ready Player One ending to chapter 6. I wish I had played more of the final couple of seasons and been able to do the event live on stream. But I saw the clips and the videos and it looked awesome. So we're going to jump into all of that in just a moment. But how was everybody's weekend? I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the content. And we're going to shift it over into news mode, I suppose. Just because it's fun to be able to chat with you guys with fewer distractions for me. Right? News mode. We all know how easily distracted I am. Look, I'm already easily distracted right here. Like, I don't know what's going on. Clicking around stuff. Anyway, let's jump into... let me actually turn on stuff so we can see. Let's start with a statement from Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeny. Wendy Kumalo, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Well, let's start with this article. I saw this over the weekend, and I guess right before the weekend. Epic Games CEO says AI disclosure makes no sense for game stores. This is great. Epic Games CEO recently commented on AI disclosure for game stores, stating it makes no sense as it will be involved in almost all future production. I mean, he's not wrong. We've already got studios using it. We've got people talking about most studios are in fact using AI to some degree all over the world. The gaming industry has conflicting views about AI use in development at the moment. Some seem to be for it, with companies like Ubisoft pushing for full-scale AI-driven research projects. The Witcher 3 director also spoke about AI in development, stating he doesn't feel that games created with only AI will have soul. Now Tim Sweeny has shared his 2 cents on AI in-game development and store disclosure. I kind of agree with the director from The Witcher 3. Games created with only AI will have no soul. I mean, it will be technically a game. You know, if it's just purely AI generated, right? It will be technically a game. And it might have some really good tight mechanics. But if you're going for like a story or just a creative approach, it's going to be very rigid. You know, I don't think it's going to... You're not going to have some of the things that make like games made by people in them. And I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Speaking of distractions, I'm streaking. Oh no, Will. Stop it. All right, Epic Games CEO says AI will be involved in nearly all future production. Tim Sweeny recently responded to a comment on X, formerly Twitter, that said Steam and other digital marketplaces need to drop the Made with AI label. Sweeny said that he agrees with that comment, adding that the AI tag is relevant to art exhibits for authorship disclosure and to digital content licensing marketplaces where buyers need to understand the rights situation. Sweeny added that AI disclosure makes no sense for game stores, where AI will be involved in nearly all future production. When another user spoke about customers deserving to know, Sweeny poked fun at the statement, stating, "Why stop at AI use? We could have mandatory disclosures for what shampoo brand the developer uses. Customers deserve to know." Okay, so he's being a little, he's being very snarky here. What shampoo brand? Developers aren't using shampoo to write code, right? Like, just like, I guess there's an argument to be made. Like, we don't know what IDEs and what software developers are using. Why necessarily should a developer have to disclose what AI it's using? Yeah, facetious was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Base Guru. It's exactly what I was looking for. But to like kind of on the other side of it though, we don't necessarily need to know what tools developers are using at at the code level, but we should know at least that a percentage maybe of code was generative, and maybe just how much of the code or how much of the art was generated through some sort of AI platform or prompt or something. And I think the reason a lot of us want to know those things is because we have a legitimate concern that AI kind of slop as it's popular to say, AI slop is going to be. It's already taken over social media. There's my feeds on several apps now are a lot of AI like generated footage of situations that could never be real. Some of it's funny. Some people like sending me these things. I'm not into the like AI like generative AI comedy sketches because it's weird, but like it feels lifeless. Like you look at how the people are interacting in these videos and you can tell like those aren't real people, you know? Um it's just something about it. Like it's hard to put. Now, it's on the like edge of the uncanny valley, you know, close to real, believable, right? Like it's scary close to being out of the uncanny valley. But you can still tell, and then you know I would just like to know, like if I'm watching it's just like if I'm watching a movie or maybe I'm reading a book, I'd like to know if parts of it were driven by AI writing or special effects or something to that effect, right? Where a person would traditionally have done that job. And maybe this is the same argument that people tried to make when CG graphics first entered the movie scene, right? Where we started using computer special effects instead of practical effects and having like engineers on set building things. Maybe this is like video games CG moment, right? I don't know. I don't think we I don't think we necessarily like it shouldn't be required maybe, but I would like to know just personally. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm not going to tell a company what they should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying if we could get like a percentage or maybe like a I don't know, just some kind of thing that tells us how much AI was leveraged in the development, right? Because like I don't know, I feel weird about it. I would probably not play a game if I knew it was like 100% like prompt driven. I might try it, you know, but I don't think I would pay money for something that people really didn't work on, you know. And that's not to say like prompt engineering isn't important. I'm using AI for work, but I'm using it in a way that I'm still doing a lot of the legwork and a lot of the implementation side. I'm not generating pages of code and going, "Oh, look at all the hard work I'm doing." Like that's not what's going on. You know, so I as a user of it, I will disclose and I talk to my team like, "Hey, this tool is helping me get things done faster. Thank you for approving it." You know, that kind of thing. I think in the game space, it should be an addition. It shouldn't be the main driving like thing. And I don't know that we're at that point, but it would be nice to know. And that leads to like the headline where I think it's this one. Fortnite fans start hunting for AI slop after spotting alleged AI generated artwork. Now, this is alleged. Epic has yet to officially confirm whether any of the game's art was generated by AI. So, a group of Fortnite players have started looking for examples of potential AI generated artwork in the game. Was kind of where like I got the headline for today. It says on the game's Reddit page, of Fortnite's Reddit page, there's an image posted, piece of artwork found on a wall in game's latest Chapter 7 map, asking, is this Chapter 7 art AI generated? So I guess we could look, because it does kind of have that feel to it. I don't think so. I don't, my first thought is not, but maybe parts, maybe like the base image, but like the graphics and stuff, not so much. I don't think so. Just for my first hunch. I think most people concerns over AI are over AI art. It would be misleading to have just a general used AI tag because there's multiple ways it could have been used, like just for research. No, see, like that's what I agree with. I think if a game, specifically with gaming, right? If you're using AI to generate your code, your artwork, maybe voice acting, maybe even the script. Like if it's the whole pipeline of things, you're using generative AI as the like core thing that you're doing, or that's doing most of the work. That needs to be disclosed over, hey, I'm using Claude to help me write test cases, or I'm using Claude to help me write code to do this task faster. Because that's been my favorite part about using AI for coding is, hey, do the boilerplate stuff for me. Get it out of the way. Hey, I just need like a basic thing here. I don't need this. I don't need you to write the whole implementation for me. I just need to do the boilerplate stuff, and then I will do it. I will handle the rest. I will play with it from there. So yeah, my first hunch on this poster is no, it's not AI generated, but I kind of feel how you could get there. This dude looks like he has an uneven number of toes, right? AI struggles with fingers and toes for some reason. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it just looks weird. He's still got 4, right? That's 4. This looks like 2. I don't know. I don't know how to count. It looks weird. But anyway, let's read the article. Let's see what else they got to say. One user suggested a piece of manga-styled Marty McFly graffiti art, which is unlockable in the game's battle pass as AI. Despite there being no immediate telltale signs, other than the claim it looks eerily similar to a Studio Ghibli-style flyer that went viral a few months ago. I want every asset I received through the past to be human-created, regardless if it's a throwaway reward, the user wrote. Shame on the higher-ups that didn't want to commission an artist for something that would have been amazing for their portfolio. Absolutely disgusting. I don't know. Go clutch your pearls somewhere else. Typed on an iPhone, kind of thing. Yes, people should be used, if you need art. But I think using AI generated art as a launch pad or a stepping stone, or I don't know, just not don't get upset that something's purely AI generated. But I think it's okay to go, hey, I generated a background because I suck at backgrounds and I needed a quick turnaround, and nobody can see it anyway because I did all the the foreground elements or whatever. That. I still did work, right? Now if it's totally, totally driven, that could be one thing. Another user attempting to defuse the claim responded, "This is a stretch. Maybe the artist wasn't that into the AI backlash and didn't know his art style was that similar. I doubt the artist traced AI because he's already a famous character with lots of artwork to reference. And I don't know if it's a smart risk to use AI on someone else's IP to be published into the game." So people are trying to diffuse it. So this is another thing. The Marty McFly spray that's in the battle pass, which the new season of Fortnite looks really good. I need to launch it. If we get through the news with enough time, maybe I still have to update it. Never mind. We're not doing that. But this is one of those moments like Will was talking about, where if this was totally AI generated, yuck, But if somebody drew this, hey, it's pretty good. I think it's fine. I like the style. It's got that kind of Ghibli manga style that we've seen get popular with generative AI. We saw the trend come and go. People are still doing it. What I think is interesting is if this isn't generative AI, how much it has inspired other people to draw similarly, or it's just one instance where this guy drew this and it's that probably could look like AI if I'm not careful, but oh well. The turnaround time for stuff for Fortnite is crazy. They've got to have this stuff ready to, probably at least 6 months in advance. So I could see them not spending a lot of time on the sprays and stuff and just generating it. But I would like to have disclosed that, or have that disclosed, how much of this was AI generated, if it was at all. I don't think it was. I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt, but is it? The search for AI in Fortnite may have been escalated by recent comments made by Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeny, which we just talked about. That was how we started off this thing. Who posted in a discussion on X that he doesn't think digital game stores need to flag the use of AI during development because it will soon become widespread. I think that's exactly why it needs to be flagged, though. We need to know, is an indie dev leaning real hard on this? And is if it's a single dev, writing a full game, and it's, maybe a really feature complete game. Maybe it's a really big thing. The AI tag will be helpful because then you'll know, hey, this is one guy building a game versus this is Activision using generative AI to build out their game, and they're charging $70, $80, $100 for Call of Duty every year, but they're using AI to generate all this stuff. Like that's not really worth. Like I don't think they did any work there if that's the case. It's just one of those things, and these are all just examples. I have no proof of anything, right? Like I'm just reading the news and speculating. Steam implemented a requirement in early 2024 that all developers should disclose the use of AI when submitting their games to the platform. Epic Games Store has no such requirement. Epic has yet to confirm that any of the artwork used for Fortnite Chapter 7 was generated by AI. My hope is that they clear the air, because the longer this thing goes, the more frustrated people are gonna get. Like I don't think this was AI. This just looks like a good poster. I don't know. Seeing this zoomed in, it does look like there's an extra toe here. Like 1, 2, 3, and then it looks like 4, and then a 5th toe like hidden. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe if we zoom it, maybe we can zoom in a bit. Yeah, I can see how you get there. Like that's a 5th toe. It's still kind of hard to see, but we're zoomed in, I think, as much as the browser will allow me to go. 500% enhance. We're looking at feet pics this morning, chat. Like that's not what I had on the plan. Not that there was a plan. My gosh. All right, but yeah, like is Fortnite using AI? I mean, probably. For art, I would believe it if they were. I wouldn't be too surprised. Do I think this is AI generated? It's interesting. Got bingo. Nice. Bingo card completed. But I don't know. I think it's fine. If they are, I would just like to know. I would like to know, and I'd like to know that artists are still being employed to at least work on these things, even if it's like, hey, start with a prompt and then work from the results. Maybe that's okay. But keep your artists employed. Keep people at the core of the content being put out instead of AI slop, as it's being called. I just think it's interesting. All right. Well, we have some speculation on the price of the Steam machines. I really just opened a VGC this morning and clicked a few headlines that I wanted to talk about. Steam machines could cost around $700. Build analysis estimates. Think it means $699 USD if there are no changes in the market. Linus Tech Tips did a whole video on this. I haven't watched the video. But the channel estimates that if it were to build a Steam machine with the lowest historical prices, it could cost Valve around $602 to manufacture the device. However, in today's market with inflated component prices, it could cost as much as $910 at retail pricing, or $813 with lesser brands used. That depends. I don't know. I think it means $699 if there are no changes in the market, Linus said. It's probably above Valve's costs today, and there will be some opportunity for them to improve their margins over the several years lifespan of the device as their initial investment gets paid off. Hopefully RAM and SSD pricing returns to some form of normality. One would hope that a lot of the volatility of the tech, like the consumer electronics market, could chill out. I just, a $700 Steam machine would still be reasonable because it's a full-on PC. It's a full-on gaming machine. I'm very interested in this. Like, I think as a streamer, content creator, this is the way to do a 2 PC setup for the least amount of like friction and setup. Like nobody wants to have to configure how everything's supposed to work and route and all of that. Like this is gonna be a really great entry point for that. I will definitely take advantage of it because as a console streamer, I want as few headaches as possible. I've even thought about going ahead and getting a Steam Deck to dock and use it like my Switch, but for streams. But my concern is performance at that point. I would have to do like mods and stuff. But I still think it's interesting. $700, it's not too bad. I could see it launching at like 900, depending on the storage. Because I think there were 2 storage options out of the box, and none of it is upgradable. So there's also that part of it. But interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see next year. They really missed. I wish they could have launched these like for holiday, like right now, and we could see how the sales are doing already. I don't know. Is anybody pre-ordering this? Because I don't know if you'll be able to get this in stores. Do any retail stores carry Steam Decks? That's something I legitimately don't know. I would rather buy from the source, but let's see. Best Buy would likely carry these, right? Like they carry stuff. But maybe not. Yeah, it immediately tells me to go buy a Legion. $1,000 Nova? Yeah, probably. That's what I'm saying. It'll probably be about $900. $10? Not $10. Just looking at how all these other handhelds are priced, and it's all like similar hardware going into these things. Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know. Where can you buy? Let's see. Steam Deck retail stores. You can buy Steam Deck directly from Steam's official website, which we knew, or from authorized retailers like Amazon, Best Buy, and Walmart. All right. I was looking on Best Buy. Are they sold out? Just go on Steam Deck and click shopping. See, I don't see it on Amazon. I looked on Amazon before. I'm just getting accessories. Steam Deck on Best Buy gave us not Steam Deck, a bunch of Windows handhelds. And then the Lenovo Legion Go S, which is running SteamOS, which I guess is close. And then Walmart has Steam Deck. Interesting. Walmart was the only one like super accurate. How's it going, Ukulele? Good to see you this morning. But I've just been kind of tracking, used prices, because that's what I would go for. I don't know. Interesting. But yeah, if the Steam machine is like $700, not a big deal. If it's more than that, it's probably going to be a harder sell. I don't know if I would drop $1,000 on a Steam machine, but $700 would be a thing for sure. Let's talk about this. Nintendo is acquiring Bandai Namco's Singapore studio. Will rename it Nintendo Studios Singapore. The studio has previously contributed to such Nintendo series as Splatoon. So this is big because we saw Nintendo open up Nintendo Studios Singapore earlier this year, and then turns out their plan was to just buy out Bandai Namco Singapore and make it Nintendo, which is super cool. Showed up for Amazon. All right, that's cool. That's cool. So I could walk into like a store and pick one up, maybe. I don't know. All right, Bandai Namco Studio Singapore was established in 2013 and has worked with Nintendo in the past, including contributing to the development of the Splatoon series. Now, Nintendo has announced that, subject to approval, it plans to acquire 80% of the studio shares on April 1st, 2026, with the remaining shares to be acquired after a certain period. Nintendo says the studio will become a subsidiary of Nintendo and will be renamed Nintendo Studio Singapore, but will otherwise continue its development operations. According to Nintendo, the studio has strong expertise in creating in-game art assets, which implies it will mainly continue to be a support studio once Nintendo acquires it. There's probably some cheaper in the contracting, or some Nintendo wouldn't do this as like a nice guy gesture. There was some financial incentive for them to take it over, right? This acquisition will only have only a minor effect on Nintendo's results for this fiscal year. Another Nintendo-owned subsidiary caused a stir last month when Nintendo released a pair of videos which turned out to be a Pikmin animated short. These videos were the work of Nintendo Pictures, which used to be known as Dynamo Pictures, until Nintendo acquired it in 2022 and renamed it to focus on development of visual content utilizing Nintendo IP. Other than a pre-acquisition commitment to work on Death Stranding 2, Nintendo Pictures has only worked on Nintendo games since the 2022 takeover, including Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Mario RPG, and Another Code Recollection. Other Nintendo-owned subsidiaries include 1UP Studio, formerly Brownie Brown, helped with the design on Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario Odyssey, Monolith Soft, Xenoblade, Next Level Games, who did Luigi's Mansion 3, Nintendo Cube, Mario Party, and Retro Studios, which they were already. Retro Studios is like the oldest one on this list, right? Monolith Soft maybe is like right after it. I don't remember 1UP Studio like at all. Thought Splatoon was developed internally by the same team that works on Animal Crossing. It makes sense to have another company help. Yeah, Nintendo's really like got a good partnership with Bandai Namco. In a lot of support roles, additional art assets and that kind of thing, which is really awesome. I think that's super cool. But yeah, interesting that they're just taking over the Singapore studio. I think there's a financial incentive for them to have everybody under the Nintendo umbrella, and it's the smart thing to do, right? Like, there's not like I don't think there's a nice guy move here. I just think there's something in the pipeline that they're able to streamline by owning the Singapore studio. And I guess we'll see. Maybe they get something faster. Maybe just having more direct control over how the employees work will benefit them. I don't know. I don't know. Pure guesswork here. But interesting nonetheless. Speaking of Nintendo, 4 more games have been added to the Switch Classics library. This was kind of cool. Last week we saw Battletoads, Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos, and then the Game Boy, that's on the NES, and then the Game Boy got Bionic Commando and Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, which I believe is the sequel to Kid Icarus. And then we didn't get another game until the 3DS, which I wish Kid Icarus Uprising, was it Uprising? Is that the name of it? Anyway, I wish it would get ported to the Switch, because it was a fantastic game and deserves a second chance and a second audience, because the 3DS is great, but no longer a thing. As well as the 4 new game editions, the NES and Game Boy apps have received updates, renaming them from Nintendo Switch Online to Nintendo Classics, which is cool. I would like to see what that looks like, but okay, cool. So Nintendo Classics NES and Nintendo Classics Game Boy, that's actually really great, because going Super Nintendo for Nintendo Switch Online is a lot of words, whereas if it's Nintendo Classics NES or Nintendo Classics SNES, like, that's much better, and it's a better name, kind of like how Virtual Console was a great name that they totally dropped and definitely need to revisit at some point. I'm just saying, like, bring back Virtual Console. All right, like I said, this is a very poorly planned episode today, but I'm struggling to find time to like sit down and prepare, so I figure we could just kind of scroll through some stuff. Upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 games and accessories for December and January. Let's see. We've got Assassin's Creed Shadows 2 launching pretty soon. Does it have a date? Yeah, Tuesday. We've got Metroid Prime 4 literally this week, December 4th, which is crazy. I did not plan for that to be out. I also still need to pick up Kirby Air Riders. I'm super behind on all my games, but it's fine. I'm still working on Pokemon Legends ZA, so maybe once I finish that, I need to do like a finish this game stream and work on ZA. Octopath Traveler 0. I'd love to play the Octopath games. I really would. Octopath 0 looks awesome. The others also look awesome. Terminator 2D, No Fate on December 12th. Yeah, okay. And then Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 Edition, January 15th. I will be revisiting the game January 15th. I am very interested. I might start a new island on stream, and then we'll do that. Dynasty Warriors Origins in January 22nd. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is also January 22nd. On Switch 2, it's a game key card. I think it's also the Xbox launch day as well. I think it's just hitting everything. And then upcoming, as well as the picks above, there are plenty more Switch 1 and 2 retail games launching in the next couple months and a bit beyond. Fortnite Dark, Fire, and Ice Bundle. SpongeBob, Titans of the Tide, and Farm Sim. Signature Edition, Switch 2 Edition. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, Goodnight Universe, Yuka Replay. We played that on stream the other day. Trails Beyond the Horizon. Looks cool. Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. This game actually looks pretty cool. I don't know anything about it, but everything, the little bits I've seen, like in like ads and stuff, it looks kind of neat. But I really don't know a whole lot about it. Yeah, some good stuff. Mario Tennis Fever is in February. That's cool. So we got a lot to look forward to. Switch 2 accessories and eShop credit. I hate that they keep making these wheels. You'd think they would have stopped. But here we are. Still getting these wheels. Anyhow. Alright, that's cool. Let's see. What else did we have in the list of things? Insider Gaming had some cool stuff. Interesting. Nothing there, really. Alright. Oh, I thought this was cool. I was gonna... Is that highlight? Oh, what? I didn't know. Okay, Opera GX. Highlights a tab for a link I have already open. That's brilliant. It's very subtle, but Opera GX, shout out. That's cool. That's a cool feature. I don't know if Chrome already does that. I don't know if that's already a Chromium thing. I've literally never noticed. That's awesome. But Fortnite getting a gulag mechanic similar to Warzone. That's kind of neat. 1v1 me in the gulag. Let's see. Takes inspiration from Call of Duty Warzone. Is it Chapter 7? It's coming soon. Called Restarter Island. Includes rock, paper, scissors. Classic rules best of 3. Shockwave grenades granted over time. Used to knock opponents off their platforms. Interesting. Well, that'll be fun. I really need to check out the new season. It's got a ton of stuff in it. Self-res, a drivable reboot van, like all of the new map looks cool. Let's see. Witcher 4 won't be appearing at the Game Awards. Womp womp. Let's see. Cyberpunk sold 35 million copies, hitting the milestone faster than The Witcher 3 did. Well, yeah, because it's, more recent. Let's see. 4 more games have been added. Yeah, we talked about that one already. Oh, Embracer has sold 2 more companies from its acquisition spree, as Remnant and Neverwinter firms are offloaded. Art Games Cryptic Studios have been sold by Embracer. Yikes. Embracer bought all these studios and then went, oh, wait, we don't know how to manage this. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is getting a free update with new weapons, battle challenges, and bug fixes. That's another game I need to pick up on the Switch too. I might just start selling stuff that I don't need, and just funding the rest of this game stuff. Hey, DeMarcus, how's it going? Good to see you. Let's see. All right. Well, there's really nothing else to talk about. Nothing I want to jump into. I mean, we can talk about the Xbox Crocs. They look kind of dumb. Long time no see. Yeah, dude, I didn't stream at all last week, so I've been out. All right. I'm wrapping up here. I'm going to get started on work. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. I know this episode was kind of all over the place, but we did start talking about Fortnite's use of generative AI and what that might mean, and kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know. I'll recap real quick with that. I don't mind AI being used in anything. I just don't want it to be the only thing used. Voice actors are still important. Artists are still important. Software developers are still important. Like all of the pieces still play a part in the contribution. My wife and I had this conversation the other day about AI generated music and people, being upset that the number one Christian song, I guess in the United States, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I've been going off what people have been sharing on social media. Maybe not the best plan, but I'm not into this space as much. I appreciate that Opera just restarted on its own. Oh, it crashed. Okay, no big deal. We were done with it. But anyway, the Christian AI song being like number one, I'm I'm not big on something being generated by AI charting like that. Like that's weird, and I'm not super into it. I also am concerned if like a church worship team starts using AI generated music as worship music. Just as a believer, as a Christian, worship is something that people offer to God, not AI could never do it. There's no soul in it. There's nothing in it. It's just pure data. Like that's all it is. Whereas if I don't know, I guess if it moves somebody to worship, but like the song itself can't be considered a worship song, can it? Very interesting time, but it's not a real thing. I agree. Don't like worship songs. Feel as disingenuous, misleading. No person doing worship. Sure, but the argument could be made, and I'm not trying to say I support it because I don't. I think music should be real. There should be people involved. Prompting a computer to simulate sounds isn't the same as somebody laying a track. Don't have much issue with dance music, but rather pay a person than a program. No, I agree. I agree across the board. Any creative endeavors that are AI generated should be pure AI generated should be avoided. I think. If it's a helpful tool, let's say somebody's a really good singer or really great on guitar and needs some kind of backing drum or something. That's a little different than the entire thing being generated by AI. Which is back to my original argument was it's a tool to assist us and should be seen only as such and not the tool to replace us, which is inevitably where corporations are going to try to push it, right? I honestly think that's what OpenAI wants. I think that's what Microsoft wants. I think a lot of these companies want that. I think as believers, we have to be careful in how much we just like prompt and use because even a pastor generating a sermon from AI, I don't know that I trust that. Like that's a tough spot to be in because it's like you're supposed to be led of the Spirit, not led of the AI, and the AI can't be Spirit led. Right, and assist to help create something. Part of what makes something beautiful is the effort that goes into it. With no effort, it may be art, but it loses its beauty. Like taping a banana to a wall and calling it art. But what I find... Okay, so if I tape a banana to a wall and call it art, I still did something, right? Like, you may not find beauty in it, but I as a created being, decided to do that as a creative expression. And I think that free expression is what AI can't simulate. The worst is the slop, not even cleaning up the extra toes and spelling errors. No, 100% agree, ukulele. It's very wild. I don't know. Like, as someone who uses AI for a lot of different things, I don't use it to replace where I would put work in. I've literally been just using it as a tool. And that's where I'm saying, like, if in the believer space, it's really tough because so many people like are leaning on it to do things that it's like, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing that if you're led of the Spirit. If you are led of the Spirit to create something, create it. If you're writing a sermon or you're presenting research or you're, writing, it's really creating, it's mostly creative expression, right? But like, don't be careful is what I'm saying. Like, be careful in what you like trust and listen to and learn from if it's not like mostly human run or human managed. I don't know. Maybe people disagree. Oh, what's up, dude? Good to see you. How are you doing this morning? But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the AI art being just slapped in things because it's like, oof. We've seen enough on like literally everywhere. Like I said earlier, my feeds right now are just so full of AI junk. Facebook, if anybody still scrolls Facebook, I'm old and so I still do occasionally. Work meeting starting. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out this morning. It's fun. I appreciate the discussion. But my Facebook feed is these long stories about like literally any topic. There's no one topic it is focused on for me. It just keeps giving me these long text posts with like some pictures attached. But the text, there's just no, like, some of it you start reading, like, this isn't true. There's no way this is a true story at all. And yet, it's like, this is happening. Like, this is being generated. It's getting thousands of views and engagement, and somebody's making like money off of this slop, literal slop. It's a lie. It's junk. It's trash. I like AI done in R creators where they use people's voices and use AI to generate other audio needed. People still get paid, and it says what they want. I love that. I actually like the actors knew up front going in that they were training AI. They recorded voice lines that are used in the game. They built the profile. I would hope they get some kind of residual. Hey, if we generate any new lines, you still get some of the credit. You know, everything we generate, you're a part of the process in some kind of way. But I think that's brilliant because then it kind of sounds morbid, but if somebody has agreed to their voice being profiled for that, then, you know, if something happens or they quit acting for some reason, maybe their voice can still be used and they don't have to find a replacement actor. So kind of the feel and authenticity can still be there. You know, some people might not like that. I think that's okay. A real person was involved in that process. And they were very aware of the process. Oh, sorry. I could feel it coming on. But on cover this, I'll talk about Ultimate Beauty on stream. Doesn't have opinions. What's start out here? It's censoring something. Let me jump on my Twitch dashboard and see. Why is it censoring out God? All right. Social stream needs to chill out on what it's censoring. God doesn't have opinions. He has standards. So if God finds some things more beautiful than others, that is ultimate beauty. And in looking how the temple construction is described, skill and beauty go hand in hand. Right. Yes, I agree. I think it's important to realize that being specific and intentional has a place, and just going to like ChatGPT and going, hey, draw me a picture of a landscape, you know, as opposed to commissioning someone to draw you a picture or paint a picture of a landscape. Those are two totally different things. One can look and appear authentic. The other one has heart and soul put into it. Somebody thought about it. Somebody created. Even if it's like, I don't know, something easy for somebody to paint, they still have to put effort into it, right? Like that's where I like to make that distinction, because like it all has to, you know, it all has to originate from somewhere. And AI being trained on existing works means it's not creating something entirely new, and it's all inspired by, but it can't create without intensive prompting and existing things that it knows about, right? It can't, you know, it can't come up with what it thinks a beautiful scene is. It just goes, this is what a scene is, and this is what you asked for in your scene, you know? And so, I don't know. I understand people getting upset by it, and I do not. I don't know that I would never watch a movie that was done totally by AI. I would at least try it. I probably wouldn't enjoy it, just knowing it, right? And that's kind of where I think I'm gonna leave it there today. But that's where I'm gonna, like, that's where my stance is. I don't want AI slop to take over. I don't want things to be totally generated and nothing original to come out of it. Same goes for just about any creative endeavor. Live streamers, VTubers, I'd say be careful what VTuber communities you join. Make sure they're a real person and not just VTuber GPT, you know, somebody having some fun, right? Like, yeah, it's really like, We got to be real careful and discerning with how we handle all of our engagement everywhere, right? And the things we listen to and the things we follow. Anyway, I didn't expect this to get so real, but had a fun discussion. That was awesome. I appreciate you guys hanging out today. Let's turn off news mode. You guys can make some noises while we find somebody to raid. Put the chat back on stream for you. Who are we gonna send this to? I don't know. I was trying to wait till 10 so we could actually raid some people who are actually live. All right, here we go. Great stream. Hey, well, appreciate it. I think the unplanned game news is going to be more fun than me sticking to a rigid thing. Lulu May is streaming, and she hasn't streamed in a while, so we will raid her. Or I haven't seen her online in a while, so that is good. Most good. Anyway, all right. Love you guys. God bless. Have a great day. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. And wherever you're watching from, I hope you've already hit the follow button or the subscribe button, depending on which color app you're on. But I love you, and I appreciate you. Oh, that was weird. The Twitch dashboard had a weird thing. Anyway.
Welcome back.
All right, love you guys. I will see you Wednesday morning. If I have time tomorrow, we might play some Fortnite tomorrow morning. I'm not planning a stream, but there could be a stream. Anyway. Have a great day. See ya.